Yes, why am I stupid? Stupid boy.
Tariff is a international trade barrier. I believe we used to edit protect it among domestic industry. Some powerful people so use it as a measure to punish perceived enemies, especially during trade war. And I believe so they say third world country like us, a source of revenue for us. Now I heard there, Trump and Ghana is some perceived countries he thinks they are enemies to the US and our slap for more. I think China suffered some, Ghana and other countries. But the question really is, why Ghana? Because over the years, Ghana and US had a very good relationship. And we've never had this issue with US before. So the question is, why Ghana?
Why?
The first, when I saw Traore and a piece of ball, Ataasa, and Independence Square, I'm quite we are in trouble. Clearly, if a democratically elected president, Emma that tacit approval for ability to take over, US will not be happy with you. Go to Agua website. Now, all the reasons that they've taken countries out, Burkina Faso, Mali, all those countries are coming. And we know Mampani Mohammed's relationship with these coup makers. But that's the very reason that tariff was slapped on Ghana. There could be no other reason. There could be no other reason. And the sad, they be able to her, no matter what you do,
It's almost 15%, no? And any relationship. It's some of these things, you make things become so difficult for multi-party democracy. But sometimes I wish to send NPP to Kwan. Because I mean, if you put out some of these business arguments,
this is a loose talk.
What is loose? Look at how loose you were when you were accusing your president, the first gentleman of the land. It's an international discourse. So be forward same way. No, the country. Do you know how you are going to impact Ghana negatively? You are sitting on TV.
But it's obvious.
It's very what is obvious. What is obvious?
He didn't invite Traore. Wango Burkina.
That only nine.
Wango Burkina. Wango Burkina. A president ECOWAS has sanctioned.
But the arguments Listowel how about Nigerians publicly
look like I said? Some people should be outcast.
How is he an outcast?
How is Traore an outcast? And I said, you think Obama behaves like Akufo-Addo?
Didn't ECOWAS sanction him? Two of us.
And we all came at ECOWAS. Because they are sanctioned, no? It was very needless and very
the president is tacitly endorsed the military takeover.
How do you say so? How do you say something?
Tacitly endorsed.
I gave one instance. He invited the police in the two of us. Oh yeah, he paid Burkina two of us.
It will be telling one. He is one of the most respected leaders.
Mama is my employer. I don't need.
Traore remains one of the most respected leaders in the world. Traore.
We're in the loose talk. On what basis?
On what basis? On what basis?
No, but Akufo-Addo did not.
On what basis? Somebody who has seen power through the bank. One of the in the whole world.
In a democracy.
This is a loose talk.
In a democracy. Akufo-Addo. Answer no better.
You see? You don't even know. Go and check. Go and check. How many people died?
Show me the record.
Go and
show me the record. So you know
Can you imagine? Otia, you are going to find coup. Otia, you are going to find coup.
Oh, so you see,
Otia, you are going to find coup.
These are the same people who never learn from anything. They will continue with their misbehavior even in opposition. And Ghanaians are very onward lookers.
This is a loose talk. You are
more loose talker than I am.
This is a loose talk.
What the hell? President, UN Listen to the applause from across the How dare you?
Gentlemen.
Mahama,
Gentlemen.
How dare you?
Gentlemen.
The conversation. Why not? Why would I say that? Especially when you are lying. When you are lying. A liar like you. 50%. How has that got to do with How has that got to do with
I was called to discuss the issue.
I just say what power you don't want to even learn how to behave well. Loose talker. Who is loose talker? Loose talker like you. You know who a loose talker is? Now we are Bêât. You silly, you very useless guy.
Honorable, this is not about the two of you.
What nonsense?
What we are.
Do you understand the
why you are here?
Why you Who come here silly?
For the first time. So what it I chat and say?
Because first time
So if you really want to win 2028, and yes, you candidate be for the first time and call. I say you will be our Kwakobida. And yes, automatically we've lost the election in 2028.
Okay.
That's our history. And I heard the flip side of
but I want you contest bill. One contest bill. Now me say or contest flag bearership bill.
Contest bill.
And lost.
And lost to
Kufuor. And Kufuor went
96. And still lost. And 2001.
So called first one and lost. Second one attempt. And then he said first one. But how did he perform?
Kufuor him performance to lose the second election, the primary.
No, I'm talking about, you see, history. Me, some of us.
No, but history
I still believe, say, in fact, I don't know. But I I still believe, say, if I maintain a Duane in 1996, because I won the election for us.
It's never true.
1996.
I believe it's never true. I believe. That is my belief. And so, I think, say,
what was the key campaign message for Kufuor and another Kufuor campaign against the Dubai?
The same thing. I Dubai will lose to
he didn't perform well.
Or say, you change the Dubai on about when one time am I. Where the Nako, okay, the famous, what about the Kujaswa?
Akufo-Addo. JH and the cancer actually Kufuor.
Yeah. During Kufuor's campaign 96, it happened. Go for the record. Anyway. Well, as so some of us still believe, say, you maintaining a Dubai in 1996. Dubai will avoid the election. And changing the Dubai in 1996 was the biggest mistake that delayed our victory by 4 years. One more election cycle. In the middle of the NPP, we are willing to.
So it's a lesson you think NPP must learn.
And then now, okay, the flip side of it. No candidate in NPP. The coalition. Obi are worrying about NPP or history. Kufuor or more than one. Akufo-Addo call more than one. Oma in the presidency am I A2 pe. Kufuor and Akufo-Addo. Obi are call more than one. In this opposition when 2020 they say a crucial election. You might present a candidate. Either all called them produce or them.
Namunim said 2024 when they prepare. Quite no diama.
Yankasa Yakoya. So our
history. You knew you were going to.
No, we knew we were going to win. However, our history repeated. Right. The history should guide us.
Okay. Because that time now I'm born to now many Listowel Kusi canopy. Time when I'm born for MPP. Many Listowel me canopy.
Am I
MPP?
And
we also understand how Niamasi call within the party.
No, but you can't discount to say that is MPP's history.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying it is not about
you may have the reasons, but the fact is that Obian MPP not why winning.
Okay.
And if history is anything to go by there, we're not going to do the election. If you want to win, you should not present the candidate for the first time.
All right.
It's as simple as that.
Mr. Akwaba.
Any pato we are saying no chronic ya, but I think says it me man no credi ani mo bibia mu a ebema ye mama yosemo aye ye bibia ye hyehyɛ asoman no ebetimi aka no kra kyerɛ tumi na afa bibia akobɔkɔ sɛ obusa sɔfo a sɛ ye dan no sɛ nimdia me man nim tina yesi apini nimdia ni nyina so ye no krɛ de ye nim no na ye ntro otiase na ntro no ne sɛ opa akola obewu no fanishe pope botom sɛ ye ne destiny so obewu no pope ntimi save no e so owu na de enye ba ko ne se ye bema enada say the minua say history. The party's history is something that I don't want to ever believe should repeat itself. What you say, because it has become like from grace to grass.
What makes it a lie?
What you say? Nini party ni channel timpacho. I know the party. I know the party more. Where were you when we were building the party?
Don't even say that one party in Germany.
No, I know the party more than you.
What have you? There have been a while. My NPP polling station officer. I've been constituency officer. I've been a regional organizer. I've been a national council member. What position have you held in the party? I've been a former member of parliament. I'm a current former member of parliament. What position have I held in the party? The vice also started chairman. And your brother.
No, be a shadi. I will join. Anywhere I will be the party. You don't know the party.
This is my credentials in NPP.
I have none. But I know the party.
And two man in Germany. Obi have my party officer. That say we are full soldiers. No, Amunya opposed to be there. You know the party more than you. No, but you don't know the party more than
I know the party.
You don't know the party more than when they jacka. Mean you jacka kra kawasem.
Jacka free young man say party. Grab say we are buying room.
Okay.
It no make sense. The party history no. All two for no. Just so that a bit favor Baumia. That's not favor Baumia.
So I forget because Baumia.
What must say? You see, you can try and present a candidate in another way. A bit my man who I kono a change send your person away. President Kufuor, and yet Sebi a son or far no the Bayer man penny. Now because President Kufuor 96 now call you no saying Edubwa in the buyer. How much was Edubwa's weight? How am I the same one? Edubwa hino ya deni ko election 92 a okocho stolen verdict wa bra no no na ntimi perform ya delegates who say no Edubwa hino ontimi to me ma yanko pe obi a sebi na koma wo form a sebi nsuonyinu na fa ni panya nsuo hie satan original platform so to ayampia tia Rollins ni nyoma no how many votes did he get? How many votes did President Kufuor get? And I'm pretty I'm from accident to us. President Kufuor gave a higher margin with an alliance with your friend is saying the Great Alliance.
What was the margin?
He got more votes than Edubwa.
What was the margin? Tell us a specific question. What was the margin?
No, the point he's making is that President Kufuor's first time, when you have more votes than Edubwa's first time.
He beat Edubwa in primaries
and went
ahead. And
to close the gap in
yes, and in the second attempt, won.
Pato.
What we are for elections, sir? What 38%? Who have a customer? Is this something you should be hopeful about?
Obi or say, or not see how so when people chairman. But we made 38% in 2024 election.
No, you are saying
41.
So we get the piaka.
Wait.
So you are here lying.
You are here lying.
Somebody has had after 41.75. What I say?
Oh, consider what you say.
What you when 38%.
This one you 38%. Next one we are 28%.
I not lying. A liar.
Okay, so
you are even like why you not incredible.
Who are me at tell me a liar.
You are even credible.
Number one at the tell.
But we entertainment.
Obi are campaign about me a liar. You are campaigning for a liar.
Obi we are going about me entertainment.
Yes, Obi na ganim. Na no na tete wan ka auditro. Asema better how can history how
Pato. Is it not true say NPP? Asema kind say NPP our history ni say yemfa obi anko first one na win
established.
Is it established? So where is the lie in this?
Now yeah,
where is the lie in this?
When you say
where is the lie? Why na na ko ba ko na win
when you say
what's the truth? Why did not go back on now? That be also a lie. No, don't bother. Also a lie. But let's establish this law. Wait, Pato, I came your indulgence with them straw. He has called me a liar on this. Meaning,
you first
I made a specific statement. No, because I established that it's a lie.
What is a lie?
Also, you had 38%, and I put it to you. We didn't get 38%. We had 41.75. So that makes it a lie. That makes it a lie. But also me. Jamaica is a lie. Yes. So prove to me, say, which candidate since 1992 and people become the debate that didn't call first time about winning? Tell me. So, right. You see, you're even a liar.
So we've used about 13%. I mean,
but we never had 30%.
We can make progress.
But we never had 30%.
We can make progress.
But we had 41.75%. Whoever is saying, say, but we had 30%, is a liar.
Okay.
He lost and considered grace.
It doesn't matter. Obia lose election. But we are the first person to lose election.
See what that history. A quite cry. President Kufuor first win in 98. That was Sunyani. Kufuor the way. ma eno no okotena ho UK ma a person penifo ko patch ma ne me boa ma ne campaign mu akofo a oba ye be ye campaign mu akofo ma president Akufo eba aban mu no. It tells how President Akufo na onye sebi frefre kobo keke no nim de oye enti se wo ye politics a gina yie kan candidate ni wasempa so we will be there. But with the track record that Bawumia has, don't tell me that history is going to repeat itself when you know that it's nothing to write. What are you going to base on? What is Bawumia's track record? Say, economy and no. How much was dollar when he became the vice president and in charge of the economic management team? All $1 no was saying. And now to forcing how to forcing when you vice president.
How we going to
any Bank of Ghana, any Sami Jenfi. Keke omu pu omu nipa miensa omu committee bo mu hebe bia dollar no right and etino mo candidate one semwa don't be very selective and make it look as if say cherry picking yen ko fa history a emboa no yen try say ebe ma history no ayete say eboa
awuzia mame mo bibia akwa aba enti o hwe sede enka Listowel Kusi Bêât obo NPP communicator no former MP no enka obo na sum no sa MP we mo fa chem sa MP we former MP edima NPP amanyuko no bono doma west enkrankwanta what you say enkrankwanta ono ena na oye member of parliament ho. Now it is funny, it is really funny and how na Listowel the nyesia bra enka minimse MP no nsa call Listowel no hene so kakra bi enka Listowel kwan nsa na to bo nani so because na Listowel nani abre papa. How can you say because of John Dramani Mahama what familiarizing with the coup leaders BT say Ibrahim Traore and no ena US edi sanction eto yeso one about 100 countries and as our tax no including Canada almighty Canada and as our tax no omode to omuso and you know if you come out to say sanity, which means you don't actually know what you are saying, but you want to throw dust into the eyes of the public, the audience. Because you are not sure, you don't have evidence for it. You don't have evidence based. So how can you say you say it? It is really sad. It's really sad. In Tayamede, say Listowel Kusi Bêât a discipline no, or making sure and some more can a yatro and udina tema me ho atome pa me hwe no mani age. What you say? Na yenko tie ensem bia galamse nsensemi ehun what you say na yakoba yebeto so ediama hanom remains your number one authentic platform Mega TV yakopon ko so a ehirawo enti nsem galamse ehun sensem de abusia enye easy yenti nseni bi na yakoba yebeto so ediama yo en platform we eso
for mo hwe omo so mo tie ne titiri ne nkoma abusuafo a omo awutu senya west awutu breku bodwa sisenya ene ne important won michia omo nyina ena benya nkra ba ko so eseme fama abase asalam da abase choba omo se ya bedidi me didi wo yo omo so mo dia we du no nko ho mate sa mate pa amati national yo ni meja kwa na galamsim sem we wo yaka me de bia me ko show na ye frame na ye discuss galamsim sem na ma pre na ma to ba because see eja come na mo station ha we can count the number of times I bet na no mo yaka galamsey asema. It's more or less like belaboring the points. Ye kahu ye kasa grammar ne abe kasa sa. This week, last week we radio programs, TV programs are ma calling in a galamsey. Na galamsey is no. The thing so what ne kano yen to me njaika at this point is because say yeah ababe do baby as a country who say enyamo galamsey edi oman no ene de eba be di oman da che no say yan solve sa kanka no and I'm telling you say life be anyone no more ye betimi akase e be relevant to you see a live across human beings because Jacob na you see when the last tree dies lawyer saw the
last man dies
it means that say nyina fi assassin so it means that nipa kra ni asiti dem enye and insio krampo so ema enua enkwa no so kra no eno so krampo no at the peril no so no ne ho atochema hwe asat 1998 edibesi 2012 now according to WHO acceptable water stability level it was between 5 to 50 and at that time Ghana ne operating around friends 10 to 50 no even that one Ghana water works for Ghana they having challenges and then look at it from 2012 edibesi 2024 the stability level no I increase up to between 9,000 to 14,000 NTU. You can't stability and conformity say insurance ni mateche ni hunya na ayeno. And you know say waterworks for say they spent almost 1,000 times. They know more 10 years ago no 10,000 times on chemicals. Alum omudu betumi treating so amana portable a betumi anum you ewo ye fiefie mu. Na Jacob na insonu pokra bedu fie kra pa ne num kra po ehu yesuro ne num ana mebwa mimi so no me kai na bia me the example say na me ma me adwuma ba ko de ba me ne say bottle yi bank enye na bottle ay komo first bottle yenye bie pipe pe no e say oko ode bottle ko sha no na ubu nso ogum di ko she fridge mo ma papa adwuma na me ye no enne you see cyanide and mercury echo nsuo mu a the negative impact enya nsuo no so no it take not less than 50 to 70 years and now choose simple nsuo only choose simple pipe mpo no cry questionable microphone person mo di pipe nsuo betu o mo se minim obi a minim one lady a okodware a nanim any the body ni nsuo ko na de sabi o de woro ne ho so enko because osuro infection ebetu bia onya be bia ye ba bedu nie na wonu say ti akra say sometimes no ye beka so problem we die ewa chichi embenye enye asem last time a video so a mo ko interview ma me fo bi o mo ye acheke yaka say acheke ewa western region mubi so amu say nsuo be no mo de acheke no galamsey nsuo na efi no na mubi sa ma me ne say na wan mo na mo ton mo woni say ono mo ye wholesale omo ye wia
omo de ba akra
omo ba ye oposhi e ko akra e ko kumase e ko takra de enti wo bedu akra na wo twu meko na odidi a wadwe o say wodi ba wodi galamsey nsuo
na ai say e aduane kora enuane ye bode kontomire ni ne manyina say ko
enti e da kwa na ye ti anom ne ye ka asem we a me e fa nye politics but unim adibi wonu ma enne me ba show I decided say I will not do but I've been triggered to do that based on a friend saying Ura Alfred comment or here because who's all can say me say as I say hypocritical tendencies I exhibit as politicians no we should put a stop and I agree so I was expecting him say you better revisiting the history of baby I feel the entire baby do baby I do see let's not mince words and pretend say you need baby I galamsey in some way if we know baby efi hwe on see e ka kire owura mahama ye man pressure say on solve galamsey that's where the discussions will be because you po do here and why when your power fix it but you see when we are talking about fixing I don't think say you at the table so any even as Ghanaians no obia or the same right so be the same thing at least the moral high ground that individual benya criticizing and you obia will be absolutely not when the person is part of the problem absolutely nipa no cause problem we are no ya so be tena chile no person on ma what that fix it absolutely o kind the mining repository Ghana mining repository as at 1988 edibesi 2008 listen no na mining license I issue for small scale 40 and from 2008 to 2016 let's just say Mahama any mills ekabom buy no almost so ebe issue 59 80 from 1988 edibesi 2016 licenses ye the mass small scale mining no enquire 99 and only from
how many years in 19
almost like 30 years 30 year period no
yeah my license number come out
99 and between 2017 edibesi 2024 eye nanado baumia by NPP aban betna so omo issue license 2051 odi ko compare Gorgesburg Alan Benz edi ko 1844 bond ni na de bomu a obi andi boni say even keto abawe post election license a de buy no say aban revoke ye and na ye kase ye si nsu ase yi hwe obi kan kire me unim say o come mine me dey ya me follow unim say not a single license and they issue under this new government abai we buy here omo issue new license here it is here about omo a yes boni akoso am na di boni a yes who say sometimes we can na me we say we be honest they admit say oh ye say abrewan nin cry enyo ma na mo kutwa buy here abrewan nin cry village na ye ko ye na exist for almost 7 years ura abrewan nin cry mu a ubehu small entrance ba ura mu a ekru omo akasa omo power source wo honom omo health facility wo honom omo si omo hini wo omo kingdom as say a rebel community and omo tu galamsey noa no omo de kodia sekro no until recently you call this man so honom no it was a big town that was first na omo ye adwuma galamsey iti come na se betra no mo a anda ni mani fie ye unumada na friend galamsey oko awahem oko akwetia aye fi won ya awa galamsey ni say insuato tio insuato na insuanate na sunsun so ene ho no munam na mo peki what looks like mineral no o peki bebre a mo de ko ho no mo na wo yakase wo koton a wanya bi galamsey asem no ento ate say until say NPP aban we by na any discussion po a big deal she first Robert galamsey ya obeti no say ye nkrofobi na she baabi nkrofobi de baabi according to Professor Frimpong Boateng's report no boy no omo mu din no go and look at the names okobo NPP National Women Organizer ana memiti me bibini okobo Sir John Dean I say office of the presidency eho na galamsey na kasa ekoso hwe se shiri oso abronye omo bronga hafo regional chairman I say omo galamsey site ya to ni din presidency concession according to abronye I say omo ebe chuku sankofo ni na presidency concession was shiri oso no omo di fi aban kese mu na omo tu na and see that the height na galamsey be do ye ti na makosem da say ye beti amanofo ni amayosem wo say ye ken na minia penny set e kan sem bi o say galamsey no okwa sabi o enye omo anwo yong nkola no mate no na omo edi animu eye mpanyifo ekuku damu bi ena omo hyase ena omo di sa abone na nye nkola because uko shebo is na wona sabi o mani nsan obi a o hwe omo ye bia ometimi ato excavator ometimi nto
na aneti ye to me hu nipa na share chire no because
my make us some me story I got an opportunity to meet the minister because I was asking him questions at the meeting na bizan say it's at the near to me hu nipa don yes for the past 8 years etwemu no unim say excavator bi aba ye say excavator ye ntu olor kwan so ye the two low bed so straight ye register na konwura ni mu unim some koye adwuma no paka within 1 month 2 months no o ma discard normal scrap excavator now him say the whole world Oka imports items are one of the huge import items in Africa. Countries are importing Ghana may lead second in terms of excavator importation. Anybody na omudi fiat beto o say before excavator bia be fi port honum akọ mining site no omudi tracker bo ho asa so make sure say the excavator no registered asa na akọ na oma ring fence the operation of that excavator no unim say ye kan no enu na over 2000 excavators owners ni na abandon na obi aso onkoche no ye dey say order ne buy no obi antimi na nim because omo person mo din better record so eye panifo na share chibi eni momo eye nkofo amu ni omo na omo ti akra na omo be TV so na omo ni aba be kasa obekọ minerals commission omo diki omo per license operate etini makasa asem we nyina na jakobna me pesa me de masunuma no be si was asem we no. Let's talk about solution. Share and dra omampani eniama oye wo Flagstaff house no. Me fan say, well, you need a solution. And I said one. Say insure fawa. Bibia o sabe so mu onso no mu bia no. Osom.
Yeah.
Strong pona sabe so mu osom. Be sa person account nya ba bedo. Na me say, let's not tackle the Galamsey issue in the capital. Making it look like say na ye wo panacea bi etiakra the solution no ground for local arena ni mu hwe ye betumi akambrofo ni nyina aka grammar grandiloquent talk ni nyina by the end of the day see him fan ye see etu Galamsey wo Ghana ha say wura ben na wo Ghana ha say ya ye see ni hwesofo and I say any under a certain jurisdiction obi ye in charge of tell me. But bibia sa activities equals to be your MCE, your police commander, your district somebody in charge. Omo KPI ni omo target that say de bia ya na ya nipa no an e ato ho no na ne tra this no ho no iti no ye tutu fom ho no ka ho iti kwan hwe okoli ndado ho na ye tutu no ile ni DC ho no ye tu na ho lo kwan wo so ehun. And we know that some of them no object commissions at the end of the day. And again, President, only one big engagement with CNS no. Bako be to ye ene ebe ye. Say on Freda na onshia ahemfo. Pe ahemfo pe ahemfo conversation. Because last no yes custodians no family womb. Events 2 and whatever. At the end of the day, ahemfo no and then I saw him otumfo ne maami wuyi or him ani wuyi. You issue order bako aboda for kra hu se na kwan ho. Obi ayrae. It's ahemfo no say engage omo a omo ebetuwe make sure say sa Galamsey activities no on the ground no.
Ebeko
from tra na eswetwa. Enti no e dey come na. Fasem we ye ka ye see ye engage sa community for no any omo but you see the entire ababedu we nyina so eye greed any bria aba emabunu ni enipa mu a nipa ni ho odo just say boni enipa bedi ba me catch us say ejakobna if you want to address this canker head on ade ba ko say ye ensure say holistically no there must be a national program one a better getting working on the orientation and the mindset of the youth because you see a youth no see highway nipa no sorry on pejuma or quick money and you see anyeso timamufo no be discuss be ya question baby can fee it no share at the papa and I we tend to honor people almost rather than in their integrity and credibility. It's you know about when the policies of the baby now so what target is because research actually say in the next 5 years, in the next 5 years, you take it time one, you be import artisans. Imagine saying that you hairdresser, a shop, you tailor, fashion, you artist, the shop not that one. Or Sanso a apprentice or Sanso that to say with allowance. Me that's it. You have video be. You chiefly Unia TV so. Na Mustafa Bandi, our deputy organizer ma NDC. Na omuni China fo bi di nkomo. Omu China fo bi na mumi entie ko watwetwe na course no. Na yentie brofo a China ni bi kan ye. Se mu bi mumi entie wi e besan ba. Mumi entie.
Hey, who do you work for?
Fifi, Hawaii Fifi. Sir, Bush Hawaii Fifi. Okay. Look at what you're saying.
Who do you work for? Hello? Who do you work for? You better talk. Allah, come. Come, pass here and come.
I don't know. I came here no 1 week. I don't know his name.
You don't know his name?
Yeah.
Where is he coming from? Is he also Chinese?
No, Ghana.
He's a Ghanaian?
Yeah.
You don't know the person you are working for, you don't know his name?
Yeah. I came there no long time. 1 week, like that.
Huh?
1 week.
Who brought you to Ghana? Who brought you?
Me.
To come and do what? The person you work with, you don't know his name, but you are working with him. Live now, no me your friend saying. Huh? If you know what you want here. One more is not here, no.
Forest when I wear.
One that do more with Juma. Wait a while. Do you hear English? Hey, madam. Do you speak English? Huh? Hey, you don't speak English, you give him job.
How do you negotiate with him?
He's small.
Yes, so speak. Who gave him job? One amount was not. Who didn't do it? Emma, you must say, one is to look. Mama, please, have you got a name? What do you know?
You told them that.
Osede. Huh?
Masa,
Hey, Osede.
you are mentioning the name so top.
What number? What name you banana? We need money number. 1 and 5. Wine. Wine driver. And security in terms of what? Oh, Bush one. To work with them cost side and no matter about. Who they train you with the
Na kwabo de me prekope enye se me se medidi na mo no me no mo ton wan I saw mo tebrofo o na so mo Ghana for na ye adwuma enti mo ye dan ni Ghana for no communicate the oba na o se oba last week 1 week penny oba na o tebrofo no pa na o kan brofo no 1 week penny oba ye obetu akwacha na kwa dia we ebetumi sisa. According to a report, Minister for Agric or something like that, from 2007 up to 2023 or so, yes, we acquired bribe $37 million, and he are sentencing to death. China. Yes, video me said that my boy said that be able to make so I try and come on to China so. So, Sunday men in our war. Near Tisa na. Wo majuma na mo ye no wo say I wish say nka benya brepa na nka I think say next week e be say yen videos na nkofo hwe say de omusi o majuma fa ne say de omusi say asase ne say de omusi say de ma fa no na approach e say ye nanu nie wo betumi aboa yen and I say say ye akobi say na message bi na ne kan ne me de but ma men kan na ebi no betumi aboa ma yetumi e de enkomo ni ya o se o se yakwa bi din wa hakora na o se the fight should be shoot to kill if some of the youth who do the dirty works are down and some big financiers are arrested and jailed, I think so everything will stop. Until you say shoot and kill, no okay. Say no, say na tie dia. And one for say enya dia, and no betumi aboa. Ya boa baku tuo. No, why na concession ne dia? Dan ya funa ba mu ne dia. E bia betumi ati onipa no to. Ya. Eja. Dia ye hunu ni nei, ene video ye hunu ni nei. China fo nko a bibi ni ba ko pe ne oka ho a, oso no security. Obobo say bi di ni ne manema bi. Yet to be investigation beyond we no more. I mean, you could be over baby. Ah, yeah, then I said, yeah, you need me patience.
Yeah, me that's it. Many divine express my sentiments. Galam saying some no nikaya thing because. Mami me busha penny akwa busha penny monko. But na chiru na fi ba no e ho wa man ye. Ah, nya hwe busha akwa ba. Yes. Ja Galam saying some no nika. I think the last 2 weeks. Yeah, be doing home come off here. But my man started Papa for me no be needing come and ba ko say our day and my be koi. Omo me no nyina edin. Omo ma wo school ba ko. No say our day omo be koi there. Wa me na nipa ya party kese ama ne ba no. If it's omo class or to so 45. Na down for no be say na class 45 or also 45 there but the sign na o say sika abo na baso no see last year no or also 52 no me 52 or school nti anye bia biti ni past 7 na papa ne say nti now ono na ewe oba no na ewe or class and now na me ba ne to 41 na afi etosu 51 nti afi there oba no ena ama me ba na be di 52 den tina me ka asem we empembe brain one here obama wani agi because baby I will fiber and divine has done that work into here say akratos 52 na afi watos 45 wa biti ni past 7 into one here obama wani agi but 44 dinanim 44 dinanim in Pembe no depending on baby awujina either say all kind free number 1 akosi in 45 no and now here 52 no abesi 45 no galam say common sana mi hunu say no they are buying way a year in 9 months now here sabi the edikodru na you're likely to think say omu ye bi because anya bi oma biti ni panso omato so 45 but the reality is that there is 44 ahead which is the real problem but no kwaseme womne say the galamsey issues are really disturbing and so you're basic and so enyen koma sebi ya tutunase which is why obi better aka say enye shoot to kill on mining many people are clamoring for state of emergency. There is a reason why emergency powers are under human right under article 31 there's a reason yet omo share constitution sebi omo nim de ntia omo de share human right as because in Tiasiamuni say emergency powers no sebi asrafo to me and it does not naturally mean say obeji obi fa hodie but if the state of emergency warrants say okay obi human right for purposes of a certain outcome obeye sadie no so the fact say no and a lot of CSOs are clamoring for state of emergency, makes the point specifically for the level of urgency that is necessary for this fight. Now, what can we say in 10 months? I think the last 2 weeks, I said, Sebi, say etienne sa na obeto no men blame you be just deal with the issues as is. I think say Alfred Busa said what was the purpose of the CSO visit. I actually think say it was an important meeting. If even it was for the government to listen and try to build consensus, I would say it was an important meeting, right? And adebakwa meme fafimu say etoda yana we are likely to assume say mpenyimfo are disillusioned about the problem. But listening to the lands minister, I clearly know that they understand the problem, and maybe they even understand the problem more than we do. Okay, the Yera Ama Kofi Bêât presentation showing the deformities, showing the nature of the water. Clearly, this is a man who understands the problem, and in a forum like Enra, where he was brave enough to start the conversation with the realities on the ground, I think that is a baby. I was a starting community because Sebi ombe kansem no say problem near A and IAB. On my starting community, the realities we are all apprehensive about. Say so, say forest, say deformities, say health hazards. That is exactly where the conversation started. For me, it is an important conversation because at least they reaffirm to us, and as Abino gets the opportunity to tell us, the cry you're crying, we're on the same page, and I think the president said that specifically. Say, sooner Ghana forced to say and solve I'm saying no. Everybody appreciates sebi. Or Maya shouldn't be having a country with such mess. Until we are all on the same page wanting to fight this. For me, that posturing was important because I thought that when you sit from where some of us sit, you begin to ask the question, sebi, opinion of yana. It's at least good to hear, say, the problem is not lost on them and they completely understand the state of the problem. There also be a man mechanic say EPA Act 2025 EPA mran yes samu. And the new law has some principles. Enkanko si ni nyina no there omanpanyika no when a question was asked about the budget this guy here Lands Ministry say for reclamation no your budget na ebia or mining in our budget crown so right. The reality of the fact is that the entire case is sika or galamse because we have not factored in the risk. And the people who are destroying no or 2 years or befan who are the nakana the reclamation no abeto mine so. But yes in the law that there's a principle called the polluter pays principle, right? Reclamation bond, and I think almost for EPA opinion man has said now they are asking people to post reclamation bonds. So we now be so be a to Juma say whether he is licensed or otherwise. Say we are restoring the land, the cost of Sigana also Wunyano, the cost of reclamation one. In Kasa menace weno swat da. Because Minister Nika said reclaiming one football field, millions of cedis. So Obia to Galamse with whether small scale mining license or any say, oh yeah, ya beshano amana reclaiming. Not the cost, and I make a sense say almost say they are posting bond. Into Obako Bank, no mama guarantee. Say we are over reclaiming, one reclaiming bank no debate as no. What so omotimi ye no kwa no mu ye ni ye. At least some of the problems would have reduced. Some, not all of them. The mechanism said the polluter pays principle no ayembra. Sebi. Obia yabo din bia whoever have the licenses, the concessions. If it is licensed that because the reality is that many people are using prospecting license and many people are using licenses and running wild with the licenses they have. Into the question they say those concessionaires no if a man is in the polluter pays all those people can be forced to pay for the cost of reclamation. Inti nyafe ni ebe national budget ena sika sebi say yesusu se chairman wuntumi ayabone na say yesusu se concession be it's in his name or some distraction is his name sebi na japade nyina could be used to pay for the loss. And if we were enforcing these things, let's say politician be susu say and debi ameka say yen koso nsesa aban because say if each other is holding each other accountable, na say impo if even this government was minded to say the people in the other government who were part of this problem, they would enforce affirmation, they would enforce reclamation on their wealth. Na say almost be money no almost nkoso say otena yesesa if even is for the political reason say if each other will hold each other accountable and come be koso. But the problem is yenya to abana na tumi ni nya bedi nsa ba kuma na ase afi the same game just
I can say assembly obi kan say you scratch my back I scratch your back
Mrs. say
no na koso am your phone tema na say so omo opposition and someone be kan fa omo aban mu gidi but mo ba aban mu de we expect some be to take action no hwe me ade ba kwa de bi am kan say omo say esise bi o say pre bargaining say some man ne de meti ya na bibi ya yem and one my work prison ya mo di boni nyina ya pre bargaining no mo mra fie
but I just it's actually progressive but before I digress on plea bargain, I think there's a lot of misconceptions around it. But maybe I am I mean, as a lawyer, I think it's progressive.
Okay.
I said that it can be abused.
Okay.
And but that is a different conversation. Eja, nyama kakra bi amache wa ha. Misusu say sa opinion on mokofa no man nebeka water turbidity ho asem no was really unfortunate for the event, right? Ebia no krese inso ba ko na mienu bi swate, but that framing was completely unnecessary, right? Particularly with the way the minister started the conversation, showing us the reality. Sebi that was completely unnecessary. Beyond that, I think Omanpenyi saying that the advocacy should increase, the pressure should increase, we should hold him accountable. It's a good thing. If not anything, it shows us there is a commitment from the very top, say, a solving problem. Now the question becomes, solving because of the scale and the level. I say, 52 na FIBA no, and baby I poko those are the real issues. And yeah, can say that which is why Minu Divine can, and he's done that, so I don't want to belabor that. Sometimes it gets, and with due regard, sometimes it gets very nauseating listening to some of the political people make commentary about Galamsey. Because you see, you met me I say NDC in the Wabaimu until I'm fix it, and that is true. That is very true. But una who causes a problem, sir, and Marco Kone, Wako no so for baby. No abejina e bisa why na hunu so no sebi right. And so for me, yes, and all of us should charge NDC to solve this problem without equivocation, without making excuses for them, without saying you should solve the problem. That is true, but that does not take away the other truth. Say NPP is a big part of where we got to. Yes, in the first term, Omanpenyi was bold enough to make the claim that Odinakonya Betuso, there was perhaps some of the boldest move in the first term. But the 2020 election, and the claim was that you are losing elections in those enclaves. And he said, "Besha and she yenting as a SSR and Crano Eddie Samone, headmaster Akase." And then it got complete. By the time we were going for election, this water problem, this stability issues did not start now. Ghana Water started, the last bout to election was started by Ghana Water. Mitie Yera Adam, the current leader of Ghana Water, in the Obi journalist Bibusa say expected by 2030 yeah, very important. So then also here, he could not say categorically say the data is wrong. The kind say with some of the effort I and you best know, but say answer I know there, baby I can be drew. So everybody in Ghana from the very top to the very down, Obianin say this guy say issue enya dia ya be ma politicians aso na fafa na ya dan no NPP ni NDC asem. These are issues we should solve in my humble view. With one, law enforcement should be clear. All the call for state of emergency is agency of enforcement. Whether 9 months or whatever the architecture is, for me it's not the point. The point is sebi boom raso na se minim se menya me ho adia me yeden ya mefa me ho adi. It was important to hear say Attorney General say they are bringing tribunal system and the laws will go under a certificate of emergency and all these issues will go to a tribunal and within 6 months there will be some results. It can have some ramification on the human rights side, but Yen said the agency of the issues and the issues we are dealing with and the clamoring for state of emergency means yen solving animu ya. Okay. Let me profess the solutions and now. It's enforcement. Enforcement through the coercive powers of state, military, the police, all those architecture, but also the judiciary, which is where this new tribunal system comes in. Comprehensive policy. Policy no one ubetimi asoso na afa but uye wa ha na wa andwen ho ansia untimi solve problem ni nyina. And I think that in the dialogue no one problem I think that the government is very minded to own solve galam say no by creating another problem here say ekamia say gold mine no enyina akodi multinationals so it's big corporate. And Ghana for no, Kamia say you no, because of the heavy capital nature of mining no, by the time we finish fighting this, na sikakoko ni nyina akodi sebi afofo, and that is also a problem. But you see, the way they are solving it is also not the solution. The fact say I was saying TSC can become independent in mining and have does not mean say biara na
the same 2 minutes.
We need to enforce standards, which comes back to EPA for me rather than even the government. EPA will to me say obe making sure say anybody from all the license people that have been given license to make sure say their activities are monitored, reported and clearly enforced by the EPA and the environmental protection laws. The Tato America I think that Domahine when he was called Court of Appeal made a statement. I agree with him. That Sebi and I think Divine has said it. As a Sibia Wura, Sebi untimi nko baby enkotra obi asase so ababra crow more hene and if we can get alignment with chiefs, with societal leaders, by knowing say yenina no won unya scanning na onana ana wan kasa no in 5 years no makase ebia obenya ska wo de be kran so a wo de be no mo naja inso a wo de be dware eno ye kra ye be kra wo hefa inso a de be ye aduane ye be kra kwa be ye be kra free he. Almost all our water systems, Ghana Water tells us, from the western to the eastern to the central water systems, almost all of them is questioned. Almost all our water bodies, Alfred was the one telling us the number. Almost all of those water is gone. You bet me aka same way, but Sebio, you catch as a tonte. Odinkom or Onomus are not finding. In Jabia Casa entertainment.
Okay.
Ye Casa Keke. But
action.
Yep, we need a clear action in solving.
I know that maybe be so bush penny munko say ya casa mafi ya bre. Would you say sa namu enra bitie Colonel Dominic Buano say bet nenum nsem no eye bibia e ma nya hoto so say they can do it and may can say because about 3 years ago penny bi so wa be hwe mufia sa na oka operation Vanguard operation the whole hot for no or your Vanguard and hot nyina oka ho bi oye bi o say ma hwe wo sa na I hope say me ne kasaba da o say o mpesa obeye na o kiranko won abata no o say I just say politicians you mun say figure am say ho a satam no ka chem no anko mbe o say en take 2 months o be ye bibia now also omo cooperation say bia o mutu galamsey no ha yes ma monko ha and you know they were not having just say free hands to operate and some of us here close to penifo na also Vanguard na hot na asefo no o say ja obi asemo penifo ni nyina asemo kan say politicians you must say free ho pe ye betumi akoko no there were some areas kra omo ka say mo monko hokra sa concessions the mo monko hokra intenya me nwa say former West regional minister ko gina baby kan say wo mo a tax force no kra no yagunu nti say minister kan we a kire wa o mani o region so no mutu galam say pa no nya kokodo ka sa dia ene say ewia no say mo na maba ana maba to say the duane na si apro mo so bo be kan shi say de be betumi adi mo kan shi so ja mo so ja no ye hu say mo bomu se wi se na ebo se jan kasa na so se jan srama o se ye hu obeka se ye hu nti no eden na mo ye amaga na fonya to so say with this engagement you know things gonna change
eja be da say na bigina wa free so echi ahwefo na chiefo na minu anu ma ye hye mu ha nyina na wankasa ne wotim echi obia na sadia enuanom na akasai nkane papem paade based on esqua otemensa ni faso yi one terms bia ya wo use wo say nothing useful to art nenso anoda hwaka ekekansem nti me ko bi na manka bi de won fa nya asem eja ye bebo mampani Mahama ene ne team abaso wo enera ade a esi wo mangimu se wunyo mampani na ade bi koso wo mangimu na ade a ebebo man de bitumede o man na ahwiase aba no mampani na kasa jetum se eye nsema nkrofo kan se enye ade a eya de pa na mom ade a ebema nchirima ehu akema na betu ho anamo a na ya de ba nti enipa esu enipa ekabi when we say all these CSOs no omo different platforms are omo kan mo nsem obi a gina ne kwantre ebi mu ni ebi ma dwene bom o mampani say me na me yo mampani e mu adwene da mutim me hu se mu dwene man no mu nyina mo mra ne yentenase na ekuru ene da wona eduru ni yemfa ntare ni mampani ayade ke so dwene man no yenya bi saadi wi se kanka bi pass yo manyim no mampani be nya abotre se mu mra ne yentenase ne yentu adwene why be economic dialogue why be education why be so magno se nipa to abama wa na nipa no wo mujidi na no nkyere say you should be overlord, you should be Mobutu, you should be Idi Amin, and I say Hitler over your people na nyansa in your back of team said ya kwakwia nansi yes ono di nyansa wo wiase nyina obeje no de agutuam no de akosie wodua nkom ogije nyansa ni nyina no de hye tuam ena kwakwia nansi so oforo dua no de akohye so odim se wanya wiase nyansa nyina no de tua de besa ngene yefo no so no so de furu dia oforo enye ena ne bente kumagire ono se papa fatua no koto wachi
na forodua efe no hu se nyansa eni ba ko fotim nti president mama mesabo wa paso biem aja mra ade esi no eyefe lance minister ebe gina ho and ode Ghana my update nia obetoi no bobo niema bi so ene nia no magna kwakodu ene owie no no kire meyesa body atokwam hyehyei ene po na ne wonatu akodu ena mpremprem ba bi a wogina ene ne wo beko ode we nyina atugwa eno na president wie no ene ono nso beka ho no de befo aso ene okache onse sad niema we nyina emra civil society organizations no ede won sem ene won adwene kire nyina betugwa no okache onse mumo yale me here pressure self im ho don't stop if you nekodo because emu biribi na manka ni otwa par onim se na chi achia nti bo ka kire me ameye me nso sika botia esese ye ni hyem ni ye de kosa akoi eya de hia me de beba that is good leadership na wo wie no ne minister de turugwadi nyina na obopo no ekokosi se omangno na tebia ye wo mu galamsey ana mining issue illegal mining issues no eye hu na mum wankase eye kwasi asemesi no ye ana kwadwa asemesi no ye wankorofe se Professor Frimpong Bêât aye report na wabobo presidency nipa wo ye bi wankase gabi ochere da akoye ne law firm ena ne defending miners a watching won out to free with telephone so wankasa secretary order inter ministerial committee mining committee ano akoje ademode wanka na momobo no po ka kire say adene ye kanka ba ye be ye hu adwuma se na minu Alfred ba na otu me hu so bunu egu kwam no bunu egu kwam bunu egu kwam say because near Abano within 8 years and answer me for the 7 fedodo and any 8 years here be wesen nina 8 years will be obeji hu achi yetie ye wo local government minister bi oh na na Akufo-Addo ankasa appointed no friend Hajia Halima
yeah
2018 NPP for betina abem 2017 meboa
yeah
and was stopping mining whether legal or whatever stopping 1.5 year you google it you will see 1.5 year obi ankomrem obi ankoponum Hajia Halima within that time no ba out be catch the Ghana for say MMDC fubi district chief executives for ni ade wo ye galamsey na wonga stop obebo wending through force obi a was stop so obi ankomure mu nkotu from agode wonga one license legitimate license kwa stop won it was that time in the government official took advantage and we see ngurem no so say ye so dia law kind no a teacher funi se munya yo so futifo munya ye gwamambo efe di ade ohun se di aye no se munya ye de ehun bejem we di wo hu jem eja MPB wo fe no ayi wa friye
yeah
na boa afokore efiriase MP onu no ye parliamentary head committee chairman okojina simpiesu no catch on say illegal mining no wonyai ne enyai chena. He made that statement to Ghana. Also one NPP for a bank now Alaji His Excellency Alaji Dr. Bawumia etwo ujina campaign platform so no de na ye gu no catch won also one naija na wo manyim aban we enyesa na president e kan sembi o say ono anana busiafo any political or personal interest or illegal or whatever mining mu into oba be fight obekun na so far sika wodi ahyemu no e kire say we ready previous administration ni bu 10 million Ghana cedis in quantity sika no 100 trillion and wodi hyem in prempren o se ye 50 million Ghana cedis and ye de ahyem 500 trillion and ye de beko we kire say ade we yanhwe ne yentuase a o man ni sika na ankro taxes a ogige no won be bia wingu won be bia yeto sai sika ne gu wo mra emofrati enuase ne woni classroom a wo besua de eja ade a ye pese ye ka na president edi ahye Ghana man nyina nkuran na odi ahye wonde ne say ye the measures bia totokwa meja mebo be mienu miensa bi
yeah na
majai
okay
on said yet no measures no odi atokwa ne me say one ade a ban peso ye pa ne say enipa ye mining e wo nsuye nsumom ene ye nkwa birintumon e ye red zone e ye security zone.
All right, so that is it. Enti wuti ensem na yekoti ebaye na chese me say adana yewra John de Mary Muhammad aye nani 3 days, that was Friday no okoshia CSOs no, that is the civil society organizations, the leaders no. In fact, yewra John de Mary Muhammad was so, I mean, he was so frank to the extent say Okatro say they should what put him on his toes. What I say, Sebeya a year anytime biano obetimi a fighty galamsey. Anytime be obetimi a fighty galamsey. Yenya sali da webia enka anye baby a Ghana ya bedrunio. Yenya sali da webia a otimi kachre ne manfo say mumma me pressure. Mumma me pressure. Na mu make sure say me ye adwuma no. Mu make sure say the mede me nsa aka no I will finish it. Akufado. Abusia in this kind of leader we be. And kamenye sure say Ghana ibedu baby yedri. Akufado yes adie we na oman ni da ho no. Na wonja ise anoma kokode okọ atifi ko hunu nsuru aba na afọ bibisa. Why na aye ya? And I don't think say you be do baby yedri. But because of say Akufado manini a brisika and a party for being so kind. Oh, party yesika, party yesika, party yesika. Inti for that matter, ye mining for that matter. Ye nye de wo say ye biano, ni make sure say ye beden, ye be yesika. And then idea neo. And no, and a eden idea and me. I ababedu Sam Mary. Enti Akufado, it is so moment me and for pressure mama. Mahama obedi so for less than 10 months. My hypocrites. Hypocrite people. Moko jino say ade Catholic bishop for say me na ma so the Catholic bishop masa. You be kind of catch the munja hypocrite no. Muti me go for pressure. Eti kuru ma muti man pressure. Ani NPP abai. Catholic bishop me ye Roman ni me Catholic. Let me blast them. Muti me ma I go bad NPP pressure. I ne aban ni fisu ye makoye mo hyehyɛ mo ntade akogina honom ye meeting na den a President Mahama declare state of emergency. Obi anka say mo declare, but ade ni duru ha when it don't reach there, again you can say it don't reach there, he go declare he go declare am. It don't reach there, he go declare am. He do honom obeden obe declare and you be nebeka. And Munja is a hypocrite, and it's a kind of in a transemna, Nisa, and Yamanamana Moditi Kurumano. One kind of correct. Ghana, majority of our societies no omo nka no kware agufado atene kurom ha yenso 8 years di ono go ka say the presidency ebeto on the line yentime holding responsible yentime hodi no yeja no amane ko waye de obeya wi okọ afi na mo begina ono ka se na John Mahama na yisi John Mahama na yisi mamu nyesa oi Ghana no sebi sisi yenya leader papa anye bia no yenya listening government yenya president a ose ono dio we dedicating his life to his what I mean ni followers na obe make sure say obeye bibia pepepe na onfa bibia nsie Ghana for even for that one nko ano 10k President Mahama wayade obo adwuma wa so wonti ase no koda John Mahama yade me na meka kirew o yade ndi saban yade wa so wonti ase no koda mega me na meka let me sit on my platform here and make it emphatically NPP for so wonti ase they should go and sleep for no ben here they should go and burn it mutna so ye hu ade papa bia na mo yo sikadie mu wie nso anamasenya aye kuntan begina ye ni so na mo keka fon kire ade asem na yanti amfiri keti hamon ho enchen ade ansem ana yanti amfiri na pon ano akufado pemu na nkasa ade ansem ana yanti amfiri na no kwotna uteke efem kwa abrefo omo se beye kwan mo ze he na me ubetimi afos me se beye me kwan eno de ultimate force mo pa akoto aba no gwa na kokromoti akufado wanka ene hwe de yewura John Mahama oya Ashanti region obaye development onam Dr. Frank Amako hene so ano na chairman team ka chairman team former chairman no ka NPP ni tatahwe osese de Dr. Frank Amako hene ni Kinzoba anase Kinzuba we say whoever mayor no Kumasi mayor no ama NDC aye so appetizing aye enticing aye I mean so catchy in the face of Ashanti youth no crowd ono he fear for the party NPP because on him say NPP youth NPP amayoko say and it is true he is not lying he's not lying no kware no kan no kware nkuto na oyeden okan no kware nkuto na okan enti MPP for montena baby na mo John Mahama emunu man because mumunye ready say mo beeden mo be hihye Ghana munye ready say mo be hihye Ghana adwembone na ahye mutiri mo ma ebebu mutiri so because Ghana na yetu adawsisi am say mo MPP for mo yam afo mo di anka Ghana nye ni say bedru say amre yo kanye ni say Ghana bedru say amre kanye ni say nzultèd ene de keka ho akoso ne de ka enka na nye ni say galamsey ase Ghana yensase eti yenya president bi na odwin ye ho na wo hihye ne ma you people should shut up keep quiet sit back and watch if you can't travel to say Layamore Sampawa wanya ko Togo na obi misa no mame wanya ko Togo no mama update Layamore Sampawa wanya ko Togo na abunya chira wadwen makra nyankopon koso wa chira wate ti de bia support Mega TV subscribe so unya subscribe ya fe so like dwumadi no share na afofo ni bi makra bye bye.